Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Welcome.
Hallelujah.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Bienvenidos.
Oh, I don't have that many. I have hello. How are you? High fives.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. All of that. So
How
welcome.
the fuck are you?
Welcome back. More like welcome back. Episode 2.
That last one was French.
That was excuse your French, actually.
Why do they say that? Excuse your French.
I don't know. Is there...
Is it like a language or something bad?
That's a good question.
Is French a bad language?
No, I don't think so. French is the smoothest of
Let's
the
not
smoothest.
get into that.
Maybe next time.
Well, this is the Fresh Produce Podcast.
Yep.
I'm Phraydoe Peans.
Well, I'm Chris Thompson, or call me Thompson or Tall Bear, if you will.
And we appreciate your wonderful ears being opened up, your mind, allowing us in to build real estate with thought.
You might open it up.
Yes, we're going to
bore
build
you, though.
a college of knowledge
Oh,
in your brain.
is that the first time you threw that out? I've never heard that. I've never heard you say that before. I like that, though.
Well, I definitely use
College of knowledge.
don't allow people to build real estate in your mind. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you buy into people's negativity, when you allow people to get you mad, then you lose because you're allowing them to affect you, and then they're building something in your mind.
Never allow somebody to harsh your mellow.
Yeah, rooms and closets and all sorts of facilities for other people's ideas and energy. You know what I mean?
No, you're not paying rent in there. So
Exactly. You're not paying rent, so I will not facilitate you any more time.
No.
You've been evicted from my mind.
So what we talking about today, man?
So we're gonna get into an awesome story about
Another Florida story.
Another Florida story, because you know that's what we do. Florida
Yeah.
history. This is entertaining ideas and crazy histories and things that happen. So this is about Gustavo Falcon.
All right.
And Gustavo, like I was saying, was one of the last Cocaine Cowboys.
All right.
If we remember what the cocaine, I don't know if did you ever see that documentary, Cocaine
Yeah, for
Cowboys?
sure. For sure.
That was a cool documentary.
No, it was done well. It was done okay.
Yeah.
But I liked it. Well, production value wise, it might have been a little, low. But
I think it was, but on considering like the guy,
I'm not hating on it at all.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it wasn't like the best of the best of the best when it comes to production, but it definitely told the story well and kept my attention the whole time, and taught me a lot.
I kind of like that effect of documentaries that like are like hood in a sense, where they look really guerrilla style put together, because you know that they're in the element.
American Gangster on BET, same thing.
Yeah,
It was very like low budge looking, you know what I mean, but still with some sort of like professionalism there.
yeah.
But it's the same thing. It taught you a lot.
I hope somebody's getting a check off these pictures,
What pictures?
these documentaries. Somebody's getting a check off of them.
Well, that was for BT for sure. The YouTube one, I know when I search for stuff on YouTube now, the Cocaine Cowboys one is like $2.99 to watch on YouTube.
Monetization.
Yeah.
You gotta make that money.
Absolutely.
So if you guys remember, if you guys haven't seen that documentary, definitely go to it.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Great documentary. It's about
At a local bodega.
it was about a
where I got mine.
local drug syndicate based out of Miami
In the 70s and 80s.
that took over and made a lot of money.
Before Pablo Escobar.
Yeah, well, before and during.
Yeah, definitely during. But before, starting before.
Well,
Pablo Escobar was still in cars, and she was already making money.
Griselda in New York.
I'm just saying, maybe not the New York or the Miami part of it. I'm just mean like that whole syndicate. Is that the right word?
Right.
Started way before, not way before, but before Escobar.
I think it was right during, because the
Look it up. Look it up. I think it might have been before.
All right, we're the point was in the 80s, there was a crazy explosion of cocaine hitting Miami, because New York was kind of getting hot, and I think LA was kind of getting hot. So they figured out ways to bring it in through Miami, mostly through like planes that would drop off, and then they drop off the drugs, and then the drugs would get picked up by these cigarette boats.
Right.
And one of the operator family team group operators were the brothers, the Falcon brothers, Willie and Gustavo Falcon.
Yeah.
And these guys, according to some of the stories that we've been looking up, these guys were playing with billions.
Yeah.
It's like billions, but that, you know, sometimes these
Was I don't remember. Was it 9 billion? Was that
not 2 billion?
2 billion. Okay.
That's estimated what they were worth, and they definitely had a few $1 million in boats.
Yeah.
So the, you know, in liquid assets, maybe millionaires. The reason why they say that they were worth billionaires is obviously the amount of drugs that they were bringing in, give or take the street value of a kilo. So they multiply that. Like if they're bringing in 70 tons of
70 tons.
That's what they were saying. 70 tons of cocaine in either their whole.
What's that in, like? Tell me what 70 tons is. Like, make that.
It's like
I can't visualize that.
70 garbage trucks.
70 garbage trucks. Okay.
A garbage truck weighs maybe a little over a ton. Let's see how much a garbage truck weighs.
So 70 tons per trip. I don't even know what to call that. I'm so much not a gangster. I don't even know what to, like, per what.
Remember when Jadakiss said, he's like, I use the scale they use to weigh the whales.
Yeah, I do that. Yeah. What's that? Fuck that. What was it?
That's some heavy drug dealer talk.
I don't remember the song was. That the way the whales with. Yeah. What song was that? Was that on the Kiss the Game Goodbye? Was that on that one? Garbage truck weight. 80,000 pounds.
So 9 tons, or they can pack a payload of 9 tons. So let's say about 60 garbage trucks fully packed is the amount of cocaine they used to bring in.
Per what?
I think per year.
Wow. 70 tons. Logistically, 70 tons a year. That's got to be something that you really need to, like, get ahead of early.
Little private planes and these cigarette boats, which, if you know what a cigarette boat is.
With the new Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card, I get unlimited 1.5% cash back. It's so simple, I don't even have to think about it. So I think about the details. Fine, I obsess over the details.
Introducing Chase Inc.
You're obsessing over the details. Well, I wanted to show you what a cigarette boat looks like.
So when you say that the plane too, they got to bring it. Where are they bringing it from? South America?
Colombia.
They're
bringing in these little Cessnas, maybe like a little bigger than Cessnas, but you know, each you're not gonna bring more than 4,000 kilos in a plane, and then they drop these.
4,000 kilos seems like a lot in a plane. What kind of plane?
It's like a little Cessna, like the size of this living room, maybe about 900 square feet. So they drop,
and then they drop it in the water.
Have all these little planes, maybe like 7 or 10 planes. They come, they fly over the Everglades, and they start dropping these little containers that are maybe like 10 or 20 kilos in one. And then this little cigarette boat right here comes through.
Why they call it a cigarette boat? Because it's shaped? Or because
that's a really good question. Because
you can stuff it with something?
Let's find out.
I'm asking a lot of questions.
No, I mean, that's what we're here for.
Trying to figure it out.
So, why is it called a cigarette boat?
So he flies it over to the flying part. That's the guy from Blow, right? The flying part. The guy who flew a lot of the coke over was the Johnny Depp from Blow, right?
I think it was Barry Seal. Remember the movie with Tom Cruise?
Mm-hmm.
And he's flying. They work for Air America, which, according to a lot of these declassified U.S. documents, this Air America was actually a government front. And what I say is that a lot of the people that worked for Air America, while they were also dealing coke and stuff like that, they were also helping the government while they were. So what happens is a lot of these pilots, they would fly over these countries in the late 70s, early 80s. There was a lot of conflicts in South America that were backed by a lot of communist regimes. My dungaree.
Those
are new genes. But
my 501
groups
regimes
of governments that were backed by the Soviet Union. So America didn't want to get in a war with the Soviet Union. So there were conflicts where America would back a certain rebel group, and then the Soviet Union would back a certain rebel group, and a lot of these groups would fund their little battles by selling cocaine. So when these pilots would fly in and pick up the cocaine and bring it back, as long as they were picking up some type of intel that the CIA could use, the CIA and the DEA kind of like didn't bother them. You know what I mean? And I don't think the DEA and the CIA necessarily knew how deep it was. They were like, "Oh, these guys are maybe hustling a little bit." And
you think so?
I mean, I have to be.
I mean, I don't. I'm not full. I didn't see the movie.
Is the government that evil? I don't think they're like that implicit. They're definitely involved in certain things.
Sorry,
but
did you just ask if the same government that like used to buy and sell people legally?
But we're American, bro.
But what?
We're American.
What does that mean?
It's like if your son grows up to be a killer, you have to be complicit in that in certain ways, right? So that means that like
people don't get in trouble really for not sending their kids to school. So what? Like, I don't think people who raise a killer. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm getting lost. What I'm trying to say is that there was a lot of things that were allowed to go on, illegal things, in order to fund a certain agenda that at the end of the day provides a certain freedom that we live, a certain comfortability, right? Like our country obviously has done a lot of messed up things, but we also live here and we also live like a great life. So some of that gumbo, you know what I mean, that we left out is a little bit bad, but when you reheat it up, it could save you some nights. You know what I mean? I just like we are to blame in certain things where, you know, like you can't, like they're complicit in the messed up things they did, but at the same time there's a reasoning behind it. Yeah, money, right? At the end of the day, it's about money, power, control of ideals. We don't want South America to become super communist, so we have to support and back certain people, and we can't just straight up give them money because then it looks like we're complicit. So we're like, all right, we'll let you sell some drugs so that you can buy some weapons and you know, liberate your people. And that's what was going on in the 80s. Because it was something that was part of the American agenda. Right. Well, if you go to Miami right now and you look at so cigarette boats are one import that were made in Miami. These boats were made for millionaires that were in Miami involved in a certain culture. Okay. So this developed an industry. I want to show you what the Skyline. So this is the Skyline of Miami. Did you plug it in power? Yeah, I didn't turn it on. So the Skyline, we gotta reset. It's gonna come back. The Skyline in Miami in the early '80s, late '70s looked like Orlando. Okay. It was a retirement community. Then all this money starts to hit Miami, and it gets crazy. And all these skyscrapers, all this development starts to sprawl up, where you go down to Miami now, and you know, it's an incredible city. You know what I mean?
So there's a lot of benefit to this cocaine. There's a lot of negative to it. There's also a lot of benefit. You know what I mean? So amongst the different things, like I said, like the cigarette boat little culture that emerged. There was a heavy art culture. Crazy architects were given projects to build buildings all over. Like you drive down Brickell in Miami, and like there's some really nice architectural like art. You know what I mean? And it's all because of this cocaine money. So this is what I'm saying.
Okay,
You know what I
so
mean?
it sounds like you're kind of like a fan, I guess. That it happened.
I'm a fan as much as I like seeing Mike Tyson fight. You know what I mean? Like that's brutal what he's doing to people, but I can respect the discipline. I can respect the, you know, there's some sort of commitment, consistency there, and it's you know, like look at what happened during the Crusades. Like people walked around killing people because of religion, and the crusade basically also allowed us to migrate to other lands and exchange things. So there's good and bad to everything. You know what I mean? And Miami is a beautiful place right now because of cocaine. I mean, we can't deny that.
You can't. I know, but you're saying a thing that's right. But like, what if that hadn't happened? Are you saying that the Skyline wouldn't be beautiful?
There wouldn't be there wouldn't be a cigarette racing economy, a cigarette boat racing economy. There wouldn't be, you know, like
there'd be something else.
It would
with
be,
less bodies
it would be
on
old
it.
Retired people.
With less bodies on it.
True. But you have to agree, whether bad or good, that there was a great change in Miami because of cocaine influence. Creative people.
Great meaning like big.
And
drastic.
Creativity too.
Sure. I mean, cocaine, drugs facilitate, you know, a lot of art and
they've affected
great ideas.
They've affected civilizations for
ever.
Thousands, you know what I mean?
Probably since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Ever since the berry was like weird, making you ate some weird berry and it made you feel weird, and you just kept doing it because it kept making you feel weird. I guess
it's not a bad thing. It's just it's illegal, you know. And that's
arguably not a bad thing, right? Because you're killing people, families, and people, babies, putting out hits on people with babies in the front seat. Speaking of Cocaine Cowboys,
business.
That's just business.
That's what a drug dealer. That's how they look at it.
It's definitely more.
That's how a general looks at it when he walks into Afghanistan.
Also wrong, right?
Charges drones and stuff.
Also incorrect. Also
we
terrible.
Got power going, right? We're good.
Yeah, we're good to go. It wants to restart, but
we need power.
We're good to go. It actually started right back up, so that's awesome.
So where I'm going with all this is that there was a brotherhood. Willie and Gustav, basically, they were a small little faction within
Grizel Blanca,
a sprawling faction of Colombian immigrants that were figuring out, you know, like if they had a couple boats and this other family had a couple boats, and but like I said, little planes fly in, make the drop. These cigarette boats would come up. You could fit.
So the brothers were boat enthusiasts.
Yes.
Did they have money before?
Well, no, I don't think so.
You know what we should do is run like the interview, so we know exactly. Put it in the context or whatever.
Quick. So this is this is the early 80s.
All right. I mean, that's like Orlando, like you said, right?
Looks like a little.
Before 1980s.
I mean, it's
picture question mark.
It almost looks like New York right there. That's Miami. And New York has infinite different industries and stuff. Like, this is all cocaine. You know, banking, real estate, construction, all these different companies that help launder, cigarette boat companies.
Yeah. It's not, you know, it's not awesome. It just sort of happened that way. If it wasn't that, it'd be something else.
Like what other industry? I mean,
I don't know.
Look at Detroit.
Something else.
Detroit doesn't look that good.
Yeah. It
Look
doesn't.
what the car industry did to Detroit. They just get up and left. Miami's still booming.
Yeah, because they're still doing a lot of cocaine. Is that what you're saying? Because people
I don't
still.
think it's still cocaine, but it gave it a huge boost.
Yeah, it did. Because
And
the
the car
party
industry
city
really
and all that
didn't do
stuff.
anything, arguably.
Yeah, man. But I mean, I hesitate painting it in a positive light. Just because it did something positive doesn't mean we should be glorifying it. Not glorifying it, but like
I think it should be looked at differently.
it's hard to do when you kill a bunch of people, man.
All right, so
These Cocaine Cowboys captured after 26 years as a fugitive. Gustavo Falcon was nabbed last night while on a bike ride with his wife in a neighborhood near
Dang,
Disney
dog.
World.
Caught him in his
Today,
Spanx.
he appeared before a judge and will likely be moved to Miami. CBS 4's Gary Nelson is live in downtown Miami with a story you saw first on 4. Gary.
Well, this is something like a plot from a crime novel, but it is not fiction. This indicted Miami drug kingpin took it on the lam 26 years ago and has been hiding essentially in plain sight. Captured. Gustavo Falcon collared after more than a quarter century on the lam. In the 1980s,
neon, don't
his
hit me
brother
on
Willie
the road.
Falcon and Sal Magluta, the feds say, were the biggest coke importers in
Caught him on
South
his-
Florida, making
Caught him on
$2.5
his
billion.
bike.
This 1991 indictment charged them with a 75-ton cocaine enterprise.
Wow.
They used their
Cocaine
racing boat
enterprise.
business as a front for dope dealing that allowed them to live an opulent lifestyle. Willie Falcone and Magluta would eventually be convicted. It wasn't easy. Witnesses had a nasty habit of turning up
This is what
dead.
you're saying.
West Miami Police Chief Nelson Andrew, then a homicide
Well,
detective,
not just the
investigated the
witnesses.
murders.
You know, I'm not talking about just witnesses of crimes.
well, that's collateral damage.
Nah, that's a small part of it. You know what I mean? Before just killing witnesses because you're gonna get in trouble, there's also a trail of bodies behind that of other stuff.
You ever heard of Standard Oil Company in New York? You know how many people died digging up oil wells and stuff, and
Right, because of trying to figure out how to get it out the earth, and same thing with like maybe coal miners and stuff like that. So you're saying like because it's an industry, cocaine industry, there's going to be like growing pains?
No, there's still wrongs in it, but look at the way Miami is, like Miami, because of it.
Again, it's benefited. I'm not saying it hasn't benefited in a small way somehow, but I'm saying like just because it's benefited from something that hurt a lot of people and hurt itself, and probably right now the way things are structured because of this, I assume aren't the best. If it was built on cocaine, are you telling me like it's a fully functioning like positive city?
No, I'm just saying with everything positive, there's going to be a negative with it. But we should not glorify it, but we should have respect for it, and there should be an understanding there. And also, we should, the same way we've like noticed that the war on drugs is a negative thing, that there has to be a different way of looking at it so that we can attack it differently. Because maybe if it wasn't illegal, then all the murders and things wouldn't have to be justified a casualty of business.
There's definitely an argument for that. Definitely an argument for
look at that Skyline.
There's definitely an argument for legalizing drugs. There's isn't there a place in, is it Scotland or England?
I think Paraguay.
Paraguay. It's all like all drugs are legal or whatever. Is that true? Or am I making that up?
No, it's absolutely true, and they've actually had like a decrease in
Paraguay.
I think it's Paraguay or where? What's
Paraguay? That kind of scares me, but
what scares you?
just everybody being able to do whatever kind of drugs they want to do all the time. People can't handle that
less
shit.
of a taboo.
For sure. And maybe eventually it'll work itself out, but I think
positive things that have happened in Denver after they legalized marijuana.
Right. 10 years since Portugal became the first European nation to take a brave step to criminalize the possession of all drugs within its borders, from marijuana to heroin and everything in between. But yeah, that's awesome. I guess, it's just still kind of scary.
What's scary about it? Because it's new.
I think you could just read any one of those sentences, just the one I just read. Decriminalizing possession of all drugs within its borders, from marijuana to heroin and everything in between. I guess they didn't say being under the influence of, because I can't just be like, oh man, that dude's over there smoking crack. That's dope.
No. But
he has crack in his pocket for like when he walks to the house and smokes it. Is that what it's about?
Yeah, like you could do like in Denver, you're not allowed to just blow it out in public. You'll get a citation for it. You're supposed to go home and do it at home. But once you are doing your own thing, as long as it's not affecting anybody else, like it's a big deal. And especially when there's such a demand for it.
Yes and no. That includes bath salts. So like if you really just want to do bath salts, like you said, as long as it doesn't affect other people. But when they start doing stuff like that,
it's a small. Not everybody's eating people's faces.
Huh?
It happens, but that doesn't happen all the time.
So what?
I mean, people get hit by cars driving drunk. I mean, that's like getting your face ripped off.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
So it just happens across the board with any type of intoxicant. We should just legalize everything because it's working in Portugal.
Wow.
Again, we're behind.
I cannot get behind the
legalize
sentence.
Everything.
Legalize all drugs, everything, because it's legal in Portugal. That doesn't. What about Portugal? What about Portugal itself makes it the place I need to like, the barometer of the world?
Because they've proven by legalizing everything that it's become less of a detriment to society because there's less money being spent on it. There's less resources being spent on it. The awareness has changed from criminalizing it to more of a mental disorder. So if you're an addict because you're doing it too much, then we're going to treat you as an addict and not as a criminal. If you just do it like occasionally for recreational purposes, or maybe you do it for medicinal purposes, then it's okay. But you're not a criminal. You know what I mean? It's just a substance. And going back to Miami Skyline, there's a demand, so it could create an economy in a place where what would you be able to do in Miami? You can't really, you could maybe farm oranges. That industry would go how far? It's maybe a comfortable place so people would want to live, but how many jobs can facilitate?
But if the drugs were legal, it wouldn't be like,
well,
they wouldn't have built a Skyline under it. Or
I know that in the few years that it's been legal in Denver, that
cocaine,
even it's trickled. There's been so much money.
Cocaine's legal.
No, I'm saying the marijuana. I'm just giving an example of a drug that was legalized, and there's extreme benefits from it. So from all the taxation that was going on, they were able to build new schools, profit substance abuse programs. They were also, or not profit, but sustain and fund these organizations and groups to help facilitate people that are on drugs, other drugs, right? And then they also had so much money that they gave back $200 to each Colorado resident as a bonus. Like, here, you don't even the government gives maybe your wife back some money because she has a whole bunch of kids or whatever. Well, because they made so much money on marijuana, they were able to give back and that just stimulates the economy. You know what I mean? That's how much money we're making. So if it's working in Portugal on all levels, because they decriminalized everything, they legalized everything. Well, I should say they didn't legalize everything.
Yeah, I mean, like
they decriminalized. That's
decriminalize, right? Decriminalize.
Let's decriminalize it and change the outlook. And if we can figure out a way to create an industry from it to fund jobs and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I agree with some of that, decriminalizing it for sure. But the thing is, and I have no problem with legalizing marijuana. So that thing that's happening in Colorado is awesome, in California and the whole industry and all that. It's great. I guess my worry is being somewhere and people just like doing crazy meth and like crack and just like right there, like at like a Blue Springs Park or like Wekiva Rock Springs, and they're just like.
I think it would be.
And then they just jump into the water, and that's what I
People
envision.
would still dip off to the bathroom and do that.
That's
Just
what I'm
like-
saying.
Maybe in a
and
club.
then it's like, yo,
in a club, yes.
my little girl says, I want to go to the bathroom. And right now we're at the age, it's probably like, all right, you know, we'll keep an eye from over here. But in the bathroom, there's some like tweaker or something,
That just hit a little bump.
whatever. And I don't know, you know, I work in a place where I see a lot of bad stuff, you know, especially in Florida. Florida has got some crazy people. Number one opioid place in the United States. One like county in Florida is the number one over all of California. So I don't know about like legalizing all drugs or decriminalizing all drugs. I don't know about all that, but I can see it for marijuana, or it's, you know, it's already kind of happening. But
I think it goes back to the discussion too of all the people we're putting in jail. Like Willie, or I'm sorry, Gustav. He was on the run for
20
since '91. He was on the run since 1991 for 26 years.
26 years.
And then when they caught him, they gave him 11 years. So, first off, the pure like discipline of being like 300 miles away from a place that
he didn't even
is
go that
looking
far.
for you.
He didn't go that far.
Nah, he just went right from Miami to Orlando, started a whole new life.
Kissimmee. Yeah.
Started a whole new life, lay low. You see what I'm saying? Like he wasn't. Like these people are not crazy people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he was just involved in a crazy
life,
illegal life. But so many people were doing it. He's a Colombian immigrant.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of these people were just involved in this lifestyle.
You think he just kind of fell into it?
I mean, I think that
he had the right business.
According to the story, he was the money man and the business one, and his brother was just a killer, and the guy Sal was crazy too. But I think if it was legal, you wouldn't really see so much murder and stuff because you would have to be hiding so many things.
It also wouldn't be such a lucrative thing either, I don't think.
No, people like alcohol.
If it was legal from the
makes a lot of
beginning,
money.
if it was legal from the beginning, if it was just a thing from since it started, it was like sugar, booger sugar. You know what I mean? Like it's in Publix now. I can go get some booger sugar, no problem. It wouldn't be as lucrative that it was since it was this thing, this illicit thing that you had to like kill for.
I think that we've already seen this in history. Like during Prohibition, they outlawed everything.
Again, it was
lucrative then.
It was legal and it was doing a good thing, but then they doing a good job as far as making money. But then they made it illegal, which made it
more money.
That's how you build skylines,
exactly.
Beautiful skylines.
Look at like Chicago. Chicago was Miami during Prohibition.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably, the money that was made during the bootleg period built Chicago, kept it alive. We're talking about Depression era.
Mm-hmm. They're the Untouchables.
Yeah,
Sean Connery was walking around.
You know, we have to grow and evolve as people and say, hey, we're not this war on drugs. is not the right way of doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying go out and.
But again, there was bodies on that too for the prohibition. I mean, maybe blame it on the fact that it was illegal. But maybe that's part of it. I don't know. I don't want to blame it on the people trying to come for it.
You have to.
Why do you have to?
Because it's simple physics, right?
Physics.
Equal and opposite reactions. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's a demand for the product.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, someone's going to step up to the plate and sell it. And based on the fact it's illegal, there's going to be certain casualties of business to practice because the people want it. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's why you shouldn't make it illegal. You should legalize it, and
it's really bad for the people, though.
But it's better to control it and make it. It's already been proven. When you control alcohol, look what happened to alcohol. There's still people drunk driving, still people dying of alcoholism, but it was organized and it was set place. Same thing with tobacco. Same thing with what we're seeing with the prohibition of marijuana.
Yeah,
now.
like cigarettes. It's like WTF. You know what I mean? Like why are there even cigarettes?
Because people want to get fucked up.
What? It's literally just death.
People want to get messed up, man.
It's just death. That's all it is.
It's just people want to have a little buzz. Not everybody, but the majority of people.
Yeah.
They need their fix, and it's better for it to be regulated than for it to be illegal. Because, man, marijuana is amazing right now. And before it used to be underground, and who knows what they were growing it with. And now, you know, granted in Florida, we're still dealing with a lot of that. But places like Denver and California have a beautiful existence right now with it.
Yeah, and again, marijuana is the exception to the rule, I guess. Besides maybe mushrooms or something else,
you could do the same thing with cocaine.
Natural or whatever. But again, like, go ahead and just do those bath salts. Go ahead and just smoke that crack. Go ahead and just take those pills.
Crack is, you know how when you see the dabs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what happened is that, like, the villagers in the mountains of Bolivia and Colombia, they chew on the cocaine leaf to help them with altitude sickness. So it's a stimulant, right? And then they also chew on it to work in the fields. It wasn't made into a powder until it became illegal, and they had to figure out an intelligent way to market it. And it's like, oh, this cool white powder. Sniff it. It gets you high. Because it was illegal, they had to figure out a way. They couldn't just bring coca leaves in. You see what I'm saying? So the illegalness of it creates these worlds of BS that creates the criminal element, the violence, and, you know, even with the weed, like, people can't just smoke bud now. They have to concentrate it, and now they're hitting it. That's what crack is. It's a concentrated form of cocaine.
But we're past all that now. Now we're at the place where it is crack, and it is meth, and it is bath salts.
But if you made it in a lab, you could have good crack, like chemical grade crack.
It's still going to do the stuff that crack does to you, though.
No, because it'll be like regulated.
Your heart's still going to explode out of your chest. You're still going to want to sell your baby to get it.
So a pill of oxy or just shooting up heroin?
Neither. Why do I got to pick one?
Arguably, oxy is better because
heroin, right?
A doctor can prescribe it for you.
What? Why are we saying that because a doctor gives it to you, then it's probably better for you?
Because it's a product. It's there. You can choose to use it or not. You can choose to abuse it or not.
You can choose to take heroin or not.
But it's under the table, so it's bad. It could be worse for you because it's.
Oh, you're saying because the doctor's giving it to you, you know what's in it?
Well, it's made in a controlled.
You know what's in it.
Right, it's made in a controlled setting. So
okay,
it's supposedly
I can agree with that.
It's a better risk. So that's what I'm saying. If we legalize everything and we make crack in a lab, you're not going to have Willie Falcons. You're not going to have Gustavo Falcons. These people will go get a regular job, you know, because there'll be a lot of money made in it. And it's just why make these things legal? Let's organize it. And regulate it.
I like a lot. I like that idea, right? But again, I just picture myself at like a Universal. You know, I'm sitting in line. It's a long line. Those lines are like 2 hours sometimes to get into this Spider-Man ride or whatever. And, you know, there's like a funny smell in the air or whatever in those lines. And I just look around. I look over in the dark corner and there's a guy just like beaming himself up to beam me up, Scotty. He's just like, shh.
Like a vape pen?
Like a vape pen or whatever, but it's like crack or something. This didn't really happen. I'm just saying I picture myself in a world where all drugs are legal.
And he had a little vape of crack?
Whatever, yeah.
If
crack.
he hit it and he was acting regular, maybe like a little charged up, like he had like a 5-hour energy drink and you just caught him when they hit him. Why would that be wrong?
Because, like, those types of drugs, there's no telling what someone's going to do.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
Usually,
that's
the
why
people
there's
that
crack
flip
heads.
Out, well, but usually they flip out because they're not regulating it, and they're probably getting it cut with something else. And
nah,
that's
bro,
what's
you
making
smoke
them.
too much crack, you're gonna freak out. I don't care what kind of nice crack it is.
I know people that freebase, make their own crack and stuff like that.
I guess
grew
I
up
don't.
around them.
I guess I don't know people personally, but I've seen and interacted with, and know by seeing them more than once.
The people on the street that are not functional addicts, they have a complicated assortment of things other than just being a crack addict. They might be schizophrenic. They have a mental disorder. That's why they're on the street. Usually a functional addict, you're not even going to know that they're high and stuff like that. So what I'm saying is that it's not the drug, it's the condition of the person. The drug is affecting them differently, but they could be on any number of different things. Like when you go to jail or you get thrown and you get Baker acted, they give you this drug called Seroquel. That drug is nuts. Like, it's way worse than crack or Xanax.
I believe that. Yeah, I believe.
And that's chemically made by somebody.
That's why
they
when
want to just chill you out.
That's why when you say if a doctor gives it to you, then it's probably fine or whatever you said earlier. I'm just like, nah, bro, because there's stuff like Seroquel and propofol and fentanyl and all that's hydrocodone, oxycontin. You know what I mean? All those things, they're terrible things, man. They're worse than heroin.
They're only terrible in a setting when used irresponsibly or
and that's
not
how they're
used
going to
for the
be
right
used.
purpose. Because when you're in pain, you get hit by a fucking train, and you need an oxycontin to get over. Remember when you tried to chair surf that one time in front of the club? That pill came in handy.
It did. But again, even in that instance, when I messed up my arm, I took 2 the whole time, maybe 3 to 5. Out of
2, 3, 5.
Yeah, 3 to 5. Just because it zonked me out so bad, it turned me into a zombie, and that seems like it's very easy to like dip into that and stay in that and like live in that.
Oh yeah, you're not supposed to do that, but there's clearly
It just seems easy enough to do.
Yeah, but again, it's the person. You didn't slip into it, right?
No.
The majority of people don't. Some people do. So
there's a large majority that do.
Yeah, but that's
like there's a real problem with stuff like that.
That's been across the spectrum of time.
It's a real problem with alcohol.
People have always been addicted to certain things. You know what I mean? Like,
right, but just because it is doesn't make it right.
No, it make if the population accepts it and they use it to function, like I explained, the mountain people of Bolivia, they chew on cocaine leaves because they live in the mountains, and they either put it in a tea or they chew on it because it helps them with
yeah, but that's not what's happening here.
Yeah, they're using cocaine the same way.
No, not in the same way. They're not chewing cocaine leaves to help them through the day while they're picking things.
That's the same argument with, oh, I like taking a shot, or I like drinking sips of whiskey, or I like taking a butt chug. You ever heard of a butt chug?
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
extreme,
sadly
but
I've
people
heard
do
of that. Yeah, to get drunk quicker, right? Same thing with cocaine, right? Don't you can blow it in there or whatever. It's supposed to.
I think that's with ecstasy. You can put a pill in. Like girls like to do that.
They put like in a wet
powder
in
the
a
butt,
wet.
That'd be weird. Like how would you with a straw?
I don't know. A girl asked me one time if I bleached my butthole.
If you?
Yeah.
Why, she wanted to eat it?
No, it was like code for blowing coke up there.
Wow, I've never heard that before.
Me
I've
neither.
definitely heard of ecstasy
First and last time.
in the bum.
Yeah, they put in like a paper towel, right? Wet a paper towel and kind of like.
I don't even know about that either. I just pill and just slide it in.
Again, I don't do drugs. I just smoke weed.
I just think the majority of people are going to be okay if you legalize everything.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have a couple people that are going to need some help, but there'll be so much money and so much tax left over that we can help those people. If we legalize all drugs today in the United States of America and put a 20% tax on it like they do with recreational marijuana in Denver, we will eliminate poverty in the United States. We will eliminate.
Will we limit poverty or we get rich people richer some type of way? You think that's gonna?
We're gonna get rich people richer.
Trickle down.
It's gonna create a crazy industry and economy.
We
But we're
just
gonna have
take
so
that
much
money and
tax
run.
money that we can provide housing for every homeless person in the United States. Provide them with food. We can let it rain on every welfare mama in the world by legalizing drugs. That's how powerful the economy of drugs is. You know how much money
I like
gets
the
laundered?
imagery of making it rain on welfare mamas. I don't like that imagery. It's just,
You don't want welfare mamas to get extra
I
money?
just don't like the imagery. I guess making it rain on welfare mamas. We gotta frame that different next time. Absolutely frame
Give
that
welfare mamas more money in their monthly check.
in their stipend. Okay, that
Give
sounds
them
better. When you kind of
A
like
baby mama stipend.
frame it, but optics is important.
A baby mama stipend.
I don't know, man. I don't know about getting with making everything legal. But I do agree with when you say if it were legal, there'd be less people like that would come out of the Cocaine Cowboy. The Cocaine Cowboy era would have been a lot different, let's say, if everything was legal.
And it's like, this guy, what did he really affect? I mean, he was on the run for 26 years. They just gave him 11 years.
Man,
What
we're
did
just
it
taking
really
bike rides
affect by
or whatever.
arresting this guy?
I guess it made it right, maybe. Made it right.
Right in whose book? In
The state of
so-called-
Florida and the United States.
Because we made a substance
Because it's illegal. And because a lot of people died. Back to that part.
A lot of people did die, but for every person that died, there's like 30 feet of real estate skyscraper.
Okay, so that's good. That at least we have a number of like, we can say, all right, so we go, what's 30 feet? Is that 3 floors? 4 floors?
I don't know.
So we'll say 2.5. We'll say 2 floors. Saying that if it's
Of
high
a
ceilings,
building that's going to be there at least
of a building.
100 to 200
So 1
years.
body, 2 body, 3 body. So like this building has 20 bodies on it.
I'm about
That's
to say
not
something
bad.
that's really mean. And
That's
it's gonna
not
come
bad.
off really bad.
20 bodies for a building. That's not too bad, right?
How long does the average human live?
Was it 70 years?
Okay,
I don't know.
Give or take. Do
80
you think
years.
the average human, what do they really give back to this earth? The average human,
I don't know. I have no idea.
probably not much.
Well, I have no idea because what are you saying gives back?
I'm just saying, we're caught up.
Comes up with an invention or something important.
People die every year of like secondhand smoke and so many different things.
Okay.
If you look at the larger implications on the way the economy in Miami is crazy, and arguably it's because there was so much money pumped into there. And I can go, like, it's not just Miami. Like, go look at Panama. Have you seen Panama? Panama is a multinational, like, beautiful international city, and it's all because all these drug dealers put their money there to launder it. And Noriega was smart enough to nationalize the bank and take all that money from the drug dealers. Said, oh, you killed all these people, you did all this illegal stuff, I'm taking your money and I'm giving it back to the country of Panama. Because regardless, messed up things are going to happen. People are going to die. It's unfortunate. But the larger implications of what these places have become. The economy in Panama is amazing. The economy in Colombia is amazing. The economy in Miami is amazing. The economy in New York. You know how much money gets laundered into this, I think.
So you're saying there for a city to be super booming and profitable, some illegal stuff,
but it shows
some illegal stuff needed to happen.
That cities that were heavily influenced by drugs,
just drugs or just illegal stuff?
Mostly drugs. Have
why mostly drugs?
A long-term, an exponential long-term success growth in their economy, and it's strongly.
So we shouldn't have even worried about Gustavo. Should have just left him. Left him to just live the rest of his life.
Studied those things, and like what they're doing right now in California is if you got arrested for marijuana, you're actually the people that have marijuana felonies in California are automatically are given a license to grow. Like they're like just pushed ahead of.
If you were arrested for it,
yeah.
They release you.
No, there's a
state
law that says that after you've served your time and you got out of jail and you're, I guess, off probation or whatever, that you're like get pushed ahead of the line to get the licensing to start your either grow or dispensary or to start the automatic. And it's even so great that like big money people that wanted to get into the industry, they team up with an ex-felon and basically like, hey, here's $25,000, let us use your license so that we can grow, because you obviously don't know what you're doing.
Right.
So there's a big market on that
just
right
to get
now
the
in
license.
California, because it's so easy for a marijuana felon to get a license, because they're trying to make a stance to say that if you got charged with this stuff, that we want you to be part of this new industry.
So they're still in jail just because they broke a law that is legal now, but they won't let them out of jail early, or prison early.
I don't know that. I think some people have been granted immunity to some respects. Every case has been different, but the reform is incredible. What they're doing in California with these people that were once criminals.
Again, marijuana is not a problem.
I mean, any substance, you could do the same thing.
That's the thing. I don't know about the any substance thing, man. Again, if I'm somewhere and there's like this guy's doing meth over here, and I don't know what's about to happen. He might be fine. He might do meth every day. Man might be a kindergarten teacher, and he's in the parking lot, and I don't know how meth happens, but like they're doing meth. I don't know if they smoke meth. I think you smoke meth, right? Is that what you do? Anyway, whatever. So they're all cranked up, right? Tripping or whatever, geeked out. Am I using the right terminology? Yeah, you don't smoke meth, but I'm just saying, like, they get like amped up.
Right. That's wrong.
Are they fine, or were they going to freak out? So you got caffeine up?
Yeah.
You know how much caffeine you got to drink to like freak out?
I'm trying to see how many people die every year from caffeine, because I thought it was a crazy number that I've seen.
People dying from overdosing on caffeine? I don't know, man. I don't know if what I'm worried about is the state of mind you're in after you drink caffeine. Not if your heart explodes, but if you decide to explode somebody's heart.
There's just plenty of substances.
If I look at you and all of a sudden you're attacking me.
Alcohol is just as bad as meth.
I agree. Alcohol is very bad.
But that's what I'm saying, is that any substance could be bad without the proper discipline and control and the proper, constraint, because it's a substance.
Right. And in some stuff, the proper discipline and constraint and control is to not have it available to do whatsoever.
If there was regulation.
See these shards of glass that I put in my eye?
No, I'll give you an example.
These
you know
are
where meth?
amazing.
You know who invented meth?
Key and Peele.
The Nazis.
Walter White.
Well, the Nazis actually invented meth and MDMA and any methamphetamine.
Methamphetamine.
Thank you. they invented it to help their soldiers stay up. So there was a practical application for it. You know, it's just it became illegal
to make better Nazis. Legalize it.
It's to make better soldiers, but there's a practical application for any number of these things that were Nazis. Even like LSD. It was a mistake that he was
right.
You know, like
what's the guy's name?
I forget the name of the guy, but he was just experimenting with like
professor and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. And he was experimenting with yeast, and then took the yeast or the rye,
I don't know how
wheat or something, and
I've never done LSD either.
He synthesized it and created LSD.
Synthesize it,
and that's what I'm saying. It's just a substance.
Okay, and I guess if you doing it to yourself, like you said earlier, as long as it doesn't affect other people. I guess my thing is some of that stuff affects other people, whether you have the control over it or not.
But it's the same way, like okay, so this guy Gustav, he liked fast boats. All right, he was obviously a family man because he built a company with his brother. So it's like a regular guy. He was just caught up in an illegal activity, and when you get caught up in an illegal activity, that's when all the dysfunction comes. If he was in any other industry, he would just be a fast race car or fast boat driver. You know what I mean? Like. Regular guy. It's just the industry he's in, you know, and he's clearly like a low-key guy to be on the run for 26 years. I mean, he was riding bikes and stuff. It was just
long bike rides with his wife. They caught him his mugshot. He's got his
he had a public defender for his case.
He's got his mugshot. He's got the neon yellow wicked Nike jumpsuit joint. But
I just think we need to figure out better ways, because these ways are not.
Well, you can't say nothing about Willie Falcon without saying something about Sal Galuda.
Falcon loved the good life, loved to race along in number 20. Of course, he was able to find it.
So it's a full screen. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Why does that sound like a Rick Ross remix?
It's Dade County. You alright?
What's wrong with your laptop over your top?
I think you just need to like chill out. You're hitting too many buttons too fast. Give it a second. Bears.
Dade County.
Absolutely. 100%. Look, here you go. Hit X.
Oh, okay. This is the detective.
When their pipeline was threatened with destruction, they started whacking witnesses, hiring hitmen to prevent these witnesses from testifying against them in trial.
Killing people.
But while Willie Falcon and Sal Magluta were found guilty, it took 2 trials because jurors were bribed in the first one. Gustavo Falcon had vanished.
Yellow
Filmmaker
Nike.
Billy Corbin produced the documentary Cocaine Cowboys.
This is the guy you were talking shit about earlier.
He fled, but he didn't flee alone. He fled with his wife, his son, and his daughter. So this family.
Did you ever say that the production value of Cocaine Cowboys was
no
to your standards?
It's not really him in particular. Maybe him. He came with the idea, but the guy who actually, or the girl who actually did the graphics and actually did like the little cutouts and the little cut scenes and stuff like that. Yeah.
C+.
Nah, I give it like a B+. I'm saying it wasn't like, could have been better. Could have been better. I enjoyed it. Again, it kept me engaged.
Over the years, marshals released flyers with photos of how Falcon might have aged.
Nothing like
no
that.
luck. So how did they catch him?
He had obtained a fraudulent Florida driver's license under the name Louis Rice.
Very
But smart as he was, Falcon left a bogus Hialeah address on the license, a license he showed after an accident here in Central Florida.
Kissimmee.
And agents followed leads to his house in Kissimmee.
That looks just
they
like
took him
Kissimmee.
down
Yeah, man.
as he rode his bike
That's the
home.
Kissimmee shot I ever seen.
Maintained his name was Louis Rice until the deputy marshals told him, look, we're going to go fingerprint you. And
Luis
it's just a
Arroz.
matter of time. We're going to find out who you really are.
Louis
And at that point
Rice.
in time, he admitted his name was Gustavo Falcon.
Oh,
Falcon apparently
Gustavo.
didn't work. Investigators suspect
Hell
the
no.
alleged cocaine kingpin
why would I be working?
lived off millions of dollars.
Yo, he still had hundreds
stashed
from
away
88. I'm
a
still
long
spending
time
big
ago.
faces since 88.
He is a Jay-Z
As
line.
Little
anxious
faces
as
since
Falcon
He's definitely a
was to
Jay-Z
get out
line.
of
That's
town
hilarious.
26 years ago, he's
Oh,
now
man.
anxious to come back to Miami. He waived all extradition proceedings
'Cause
in
he
a
went to,
courtroom in Orlando
yeah, he was
today.
looking out for
Poor
us.
guy can barely make it through
He
this
pleaded
newscast.
poverty to the
Oh, look,
judge,
he-
and a public defender was appointed to represent him.
Pleaded poverty
We're live in Miami. Gary
because
Nelson,
my wife and
CBS
my daughter are
40
going to keep all my money. I'm not spending any money on this.
Yo, Gary Nelson was still around when this happened.
What do you got? 11 years? No.
11 years.
He got 11
He turned
years.
himself in and pled guilty.
So he's gonna be out, and his his wife and his daughter are
He's
gonna be.
56, so what?
They got the bike ready. Hey baby, have that bike
He'll be
oiled up
out
when I
right
get
in
back.
time to collect Social Security.
Good to
Obviously,
go.
he didn't work, so he's not gonna be able to collect any Social Security. You think he still got some money stash?
Well, he had a business, right? No,
He wasn't working.
I'm saying didn't he have the business of
He wasn't doing anything. He was just living.
he was just racing? I thought he had like a business, a cigar boat
He had
business.
to leave. He had to leave everything behind when he went on the run.
Well, his daughter and his wife, maybe, right? Maybe have a business that they're doing with the money that he doesn't have. I don't have the money, but
I mean,
it's somewhere.
$2 billion. Let's say they just put up like
No,
10
that's
million.
the entire. Isn't that
Right.
the entire
But what
all
I'm
of
saying,
that?
let's say on a small scale, they just put 10 mil aside. They can live comfortably off 10 mil for the rest of your life.
I don't know, man. I think those kind of numbers were kind of like guessing at because $2 billion comes from all of the money made. Not just those
Even
were
if
just
he
these
took a
three
mil,
guys, right?
He could live off that for 26 years. A mil. That's like 80 grand a year. What's 26 mil? Bust your calculator open. What's 26? What's 1 million divided by 26? $1 million.
$1 million. Okay, so we
He was
got
living a
1,
regular
1,
ass
2,
life.
3, 1, 2, 3.
1 million divided by 26.
Divided by 26. 38,461.
live off 38,000 a year.
I mean, not if I have a like a bike hobby. If I'm a biker enthusiast,
Yeah,
like
you
those
can.
bikes cost a lot of money, bro.
Yeah, but you could live off 38,000.
I don't know, man. You can't really like get those bikes like that at 36,000 a
So
year.
the bike would have like
yours, your wife's.
He moved up here in '96. Probably got the house for 80 grand.
You got to keep that bike up too. Then you got to get the outfit. The outfit's not cheap, bro.
That's true. All right,
And
so
then-
maybe he's living off
and
like
then-
$1 million too. He put like 250,000
Just
aside
for
for
the
his
bikes.
bike hobby.
Yeah, just for the bikes and the chafing.
Well, he had
cream.
to leave. If he's leaving the boats, he's got to be the bikes. He went from boats to bikes.
They're gonna be nice though. I'm assuming if he rode all the time. I'm interested to know on how nice the bikes were because apparently it's probably like a long daily ride. And pick him up, pull up next to him. I wonder if there's any body cam footage of that.
Traction, that's how we should do the documentary. We should make it about bikes and boats.
Bikes and boats, boats to bikes.
Yeah, and the effects on cocaine.
Countdown to goodness. Wait an hour.
You want to wait an hour? Well, I think that's about
Yeah?
it. That's the story.
Yeah, it's based on the story of Gustavo Falcon.
Let's give him a round of applause. 26
Hey man,
years.
he definitely finessed the system for a while.
26 years is 26
He
years.
only went 300 miles or so, a couple hours up the Florida, up through Central Florida.
The turnpike was
probably
built
took the
at the
turnpike.
time. Yeah, he took the turnpike.
Probably took the turnpike up.
He could have rode his bike.
I wonder if he stopped at one of the rest stops.
Probably not. He was on the run.
I think there's a Miami Subs that he hit.
He probably already had a house here.
I think he stopped at one of the Miami Subs that used to be on the turnpike. No?
Remember Miami Subs?
Remember Miami Subs? That's back when I was eating meat.
Wow.
Those gyros.
You could
Oh.
buy a bottle of champagne in the drive-thru.
I don't remember that at all.
You can't. That was the only drive-thru you could get a bottle of champagne.
Yeah, when I moved up here, there was one off, what you call
That's
it?
Florida culture for
Yeah,
you.
yeah, Miami Subs. Anyway.
Well, that's the story. It's about Florida. It's always be about Florida because we some Florida boys for the time being.
Pretty much.
And maybe for the rest of the life until I die. But this is the Fresh Produce Podcast. We'll be doing one of these all the time. It's about...
We'll do one of these all the time.
Yeah, one of these all the time. If you have any interesting stories that you would like us to talk about, hit us up at the Fresh Produce Florida Media @gmail.com. See how I let that roll? It's like 4 words. Put them together at a Gmail and blast us with your messages.
Absolutely.
I'm Phraydoe Peans.
I'm Thompson.
And we appreciate your time. Thank you for spending your ears with us.
See you next time.